Hello and welcome back to another Landy build video. Today's an exciting one. We're laying down the floor, getting started on the internal lighting, wiring in our first plug sockets and trimming out our windows. The space is really starting to come to life and we can't wait to show you the progress. Let's jump in.
Okay, so today we're going to be looking at fitting the flooring, which is a very exciting job. We've got it ready, we just need to cut it to size, take some measurements and then get it fitted. It should be very easy. For our flooring, we're using this stuff. Now, this is X-PLORE flooring. It's quite expensive, but it's basically what they use in hospitals, commercial kitchens, ambulances and buses. So it's quite hard to find on such a small scale, but you can find roll ends on eBay. So that's what we've got, and this is perfect because it's one sheet, so there's nowhere to get moisture damaged. And additionally, I think it's got a 0.5 millimeter wear layer, so it should be nice, strong and durable. But now we're just going to get this cut, measured, cut and then fitted.
So we rolled out the sheet of flooring and took our time measuring and marking out the section we wanted. There was a bit of back and forth and deciding as we figured out which way we wanted the pattern to run and picked out the best looking bit. Of course, all under the watchful eye of Doug, our manager, making sure everything was up to standard. Once it was all cut, it was time to roll it up, take it round to the front and see if it would fit in the truck. And we were pretty happy with the fit, with just a little bit of trimming on the end to do. You don't have to glue this kind of flooring down, but we did. Most of it will be under cabinets anyway, but it helped keep things a little bit more tidy and secure in this circumstance. We then trimmed off the excess at the edge for a finish. You might remember in a few videos back we installed the roof. Well, before fitting it we added some dimmable spotlights to the ply. Now it was finally time to get them wired up and bring some light into the landy. We also are getting to installing our first socket and a couple of movable reading lamps to make the space even more homely.
So you can see down here we've just run the 2.5 mil for the socket, and then we've got a supply for the USB sockets and then a supply for the lighting, and then I've just temporary wired the lights up to a switch and now we have lights. So we have these little reading lights. We've got 4 of them that we're going to scatter around the van, but I've also 3D printed this little cap, so this goes on here and then that'll just make the light red, so that when you're in a high mosquito or bug area, you put the red caps on and then it doesn't attract the critters. It's also really good if you're doing any nighttime photography because it doesn't interfere with the camera as badly. But yeah, so we're just going to get these installed. So we're mounting these onto the wall panels so that it doesn't interfere with anything on the roof and they can stay when the roof comes off. So yeah, let's get these installed.
And just like that, our landy is lit. We now have lights, making the space feel really homely.
So we've just cut and scribed this panel. Now the next job for us to do is we're going to put a couple of electrical sockets on here. So for our electrical system setup, what we're using is this CBE system. So it's very similar to what's found on caravans, motorhomes. 12-volt Planet have sourced us these CBE appliances. Now they come in a variety of options. We've got a 3-pin socket, we've got light switches, and then we've got a blank so that we can add our own USB sockets. Now they seem incredibly easy to use and an incredibly finished product. So you just build them, you get the outside frame, these all come apart, and you kind of buy it all independently depending on what you want. So where do I want this? That one there. The blank there, the blank's going to be a USB socket, and then lighting there. And then we just drill the holes, and then that will just mount on there with an outside frame, and it'll look really tidy and finished. So we're just going to do that now. And then now if we just put our little unit together, which will sit like this, a little bit fiddly. There you go. Oh, and then you have the face frame, which just clicks up, and then that is the finished product.
The next step was to trim the windows and finish the edge of the flooring by the back door. These little touches really help pull the space together and make it feel finished.
So we've just finished trimming out both of the windows. Now we've left them kind of, say, raw at these edges because we're just going to 3D print a little cap to cover it. So I'll just show you what we're going to do. All right, so we're just coming over to Fusion 360 where we're going to model what we're doing. I've got an idea for what we're going to do. We've got to take a couple of measurements, model it in the software, and then we're all good to go. And then we're just going to put a hole in to locate the screws, so that's just here on there. There we go. And we're just going to, because we're using these screws, we can just take measurements from this and make it exactly match. So we can do a countersink. So then we've got a now that we have it fully designed, we're going to print a prototype and then we can go from there. So we'll just send this over to the 3D printer. So here we have it, the final version of the corner clips. Come out, very happy with how they've come out. So let's get them installed. I'll show you what they look like.
Wowza. And that's a wrap for this one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video.